UK manufacturing and fire safety. Fire safety is paramount. In recent years, in a bid to avoid any devastating fire events, the UK placed a major emphasis on proper fire safety within all households, businesses, and everything in between. This makes companies like Kentec Electronics massively important. Kentec is a world-leading safety control system manufacturer that has its services present not only in the UK, but all over the world. With companies like Kentec being fully local producers, the UK economy and workforce are seeing a positive shift.
The fire industry is one of the most regulated, and it should be, industries in the world because of the life protection aspects of it. If you want to be at the cutting edge of fire technology, there are 2 or 3 things you need to be aware of. The first one is the approval standards are mandatory and regulation is important because we are talking life safety. So you have to take quality control as vital, and your controls and procedures and reporting are absolutely essential. Additional to that, you've got to recognise that when you develop a product in the fire industry, even if it takes you 2 years to develop it, or 3 years or 5 years, it might take you 2 to 3 or 4 years to get approvals around the world. So typically an approval for LPCB or BRE can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. Similar for UL, and then we have our products approved all around the world. So we are talking millions of pounds in approvals, and the time taken is enormous. Now that firstly is a barrier to entry to other people, and you'll find the majority of the fire companies that we compete with are enormous conglomerates that are absolutely ginormous. And we as a smaller, more modest sized company have to compete with them at this large budgets that's regulated. So from our point of view, we need to be able to continue to invest in R&D. We need to accelerate that. We need to be able to invest in capital, and we need to invest in training.
Well, working in the fire alarm industry, everything's got to be about quality. We can't afford any compromises. I find this in my own personal life as well, unfortunately, that we've got to make sure that we do things right the first time, and ensuring that our customers also come back to us time and time again because they recognise that we are a quality brand with quality products.
Manufacturing within the UK had its fair set of challenges in the past few years, specifically pertaining to Brexit and the COVID-19 pandemic. However, local manufacturing has an array of benefits when compared to importing.
Manufacturing in the UK is always going to have its challenges. We're competing on a global basis and often with manufacturers that have a much lower cost point than us. But what's important is that we get across our values. So our values are based around quality, reliability, and also customer service. Also, our application knowledge probably extends much greater than our competition.
In the past, regulation regarding fire safety in the UK was weak. Though massive improvements have been seen in recent years, a lot more still needs to be done and implemented.
The fire prevention regulations needed overhauling a few years ago, and since Grenfell and the various investigations, there's been some tremendous improvements. Taken too long, in my view, but I understand it's a conservative industry and the implications are vast, and we are talking life safety. But I think a continuous path of increased regulation is required, particularly in the area of training. I think people that are installing and people that actually do the commissioning of buildings, training level and certification level is vitally important so that they know when they're handing over a panel or installing a panel, they are trained correctly on it. We are talking life safety. So I think fundamentally there could be improved regulation. The government, to be fair, is moving in the right direction. I think it could move faster. And I think it actually could increase and have a plan that runs out for the next 10 years.
As technological advancements continue taking shape, the fire safety industry benefits greatly through the modernisation of products and improved efficiency.
There's several trends in the fire detection technology industry at the moment. One of those is towards more sophisticated, user-friendly panels, such as our newer Tactis panel that is touchscreen and has a lot of intuitive guidance in it. And once you've been trained, it's very easy to use and people are finding it very acceptable. So it's more intuitive and it actually stops you doing things you shouldn't do as well. Whereas with the older panels, they rely more on the training. So that's part of it. The second thing is systems are coming out that are hybrid of both wired and wireless. And the advent of COVID as well has increased the availability and the acceptability of wireless solutions. So you're finding that not suitable for everything, but we do have wired and wireless solutions working with our panels, again, throughout the UK and in other countries.
Many companies that are local manufacturers typically have only some of their product parts sourced within the UK. However, some companies make sure every single part of their product is produced locally.
Kentec's role in UK manufacturing, I think, is pretty important because a lot of companies manufacture one element of their products or nothing. We actually manufacture every part. So the diversity, when you go around the factory, you'll see, is enormous in our skills base. And that's exciting and it's rewarding, but it's also challenging. It also, as you'll see when you go around the factory, requires space. And so expanding the factory is a challenge as well, again, financially. So Kentec is a company that is, I think, an example of someone that manufactures every aspect of the product. And it's very rare to see. And I think if other companies could aspire to be the same, instead of subcontracting to other countries, I think it would help British manufacture grow.
The manufacturing industry is one that benefits greatly from innovation. Innovation results in better products, more sustainable practices, and greater quality control.
Innovation for Kentec is vital in several areas. The one everyone talks about is technology, and the advent of the newer semiconductors, faster processing, is required inside our panels. We've got over 500 semiconductors in a fully loaded TACTIS. We need to avail ourselves of the latest technology and use the speeds and availability for downloading software. We have a software controlled system called LE2 that allows you to remote configuration, etc. And I think innovation is also needed in terms of factories and technology that's used in factories. We don't lend ourselves to too much automation because the volumes of panels are not as vast as they are of detectors, but there is a need for innovation in some automation. We have done so ourselves in terms of a paint plant. We put in a custom paint plant at a cost of over £800,000 only a few years ago, and that automated the full process tremendously. There's also innovation required in training. And we put a lot of money into training, and I mean this seriously, that the investment in training is probably more important than capital because it's invested in your people. And the rewards we're getting now from the loyalty of our staff and the people being able to do a larger job than they were before.
Kentec focuses on what we need to deliver to keep up with the right standards by having a strong supporting team from R&D and product management. They're always looking at what standards, what quality we need to be at, and they're always making changes within our panels to be able to stay with the new technology to hit the fire alarm. Kentec will develop over the years to come through bringing out new product, looking at what the industry's requirements are and changing our strategy to suit that. Kentec does have a very strong team that will focus on moving Kentec into the higher levels in the coming years.
It is imperative to have proper training within an industry as important as the manufacturing industry, specifically pertaining to fire safety. People must have the technical skills that would help them manufacture error-free products.
So training is fundamental to what we do, and 5 years ago we took the decision to increase our training substantially and put 80 people through a lean training course. We then took about 20 people through Leadership for Lean, which is an 18-month course, and then we took my direct reports, most of them through level 5 government leadership and management course, which is very skilled. And the level 3 course, we put a lot more people through, and every year we're putting more people through. We also have specific people doing other training specific to their roles, but the investment in training from Kentec is vast compared to our revenue. In addition to that, 5 years ago, I sent one of our HR staff on a mental health train for trainers course for 6 weeks intensive. And so she became one of the qualified people in the UK. She has 2 masters already, but she's now qualified as a train-the-trainer for mental health. She then proceeded to train all the senior team and people from every department in the company in mental health awareness on a 2-day course. And she continuously runs those courses every quarter. So we're trying to be leading our team, not just in industrial training, but in training awareness and wellness. And mental health we consider to be vitally important. We did this before COVID, but I'm so glad we did, because through COVID it helped us help our people better.
The last years we focus a lot on learning and development. And that's why we have the opportunity through Levy, a lot of our people to join apprenticeships. For example, more than 20 people, they have completed their level 3 in management and leadership, and also in a few other people, they have completed their apprenticeships on CIPD, which is Human Resources certification, and also in engineering as well. Our plan is more and more people from our company to join apprenticeships to develop their skills, to bring more value to the organization. Also, for the future, we are really happy to consider options to recruit people through apprenticeships and to join Kentec family and to become the more the merrier.
The UK government does not do enough within the educational system to incentivise the youth to take up manufacturing jobs. This has led to a massive skills gap developing within the industry.
UK government needs to support manufacturing by looking at the starting point, looking at schools, colleges, and putting in the right education to get more people into that sort of industry. That's not around, and that is where I feel that is the starting point. People need to understand it's not just a manufacturing company, it's a career path, and people can start from knowing nothing and building themselves all the way through to becoming whoever they want to be within manufacturing.
In the past, the manufacturing industry had a critical negative impact on the environment through questionable work practices and sky-high carbon emissions. This has begun changing as companies now look to find ways of becoming more sustainable.
Sustainability for the manufacturing industry is vitally important. Firstly, because at my age, my generation's benefited from all the things that are available to us, but the next generation that we're leaving the industry to has to have a sustainable future. Well, firstly, I consider the manufacturing industry to be vitally important for the UK economy and for employment and for taxes. But also sustainability, and my generation's benefited from a lot of things. As we become aware of sustainability, the next generation is going to have challenges, and I think it's incumbent upon us as leaders in the industries to make sure we are having green policies, so we leave in a legacy to our children and our grandchildren in the industry in general of secure jobs in manufacturing with an environment that is protected.
Looking to the future, UK manufacturing is on a slow but steady incline. With businesses like Kentec putting local manufacturing at the forefront, it will be interesting to see how the industry develops within the coming years.